The topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests, and are not those of Pesmo Radio, its employees or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements of any radio show programs or products mentioned on air, on our website, social media accounts, and marketing materials. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to Pesmo Radio, its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing Pesmo Radio.
Are you a songwriter? Are you looking to turn your songwriting passion into a full-time gig? Whether you are just at the start of your songwriting journey or a seasoned industry professional, this show is made for you. Welcome to the Songwriter Show, bringing together songwriting news, interviews, and community. Now, welcome your host, Sarantos.
Thank you for tuning in, and welcome back to the Songwriter Show. I'm your host, Sarantos. I'm a solo music artist who's been writing lyrics for as long as I can remember. Words are very important to me, and that's why I'm thrilled to host this show for you every Tuesday evening. I believe in my heart that every song is a story. The Songwriter Show is broadcast live on #1 ranked Pesmo Radio and has listeners in all 206 countries in the world and every state in the U.S. The station is also licensed with ASCAP, BMI, CSAC, and Sound Exchange, and has partnerships throughout the music industry, including iHeartRadio and exposure to over 300 million listeners. Tonight's guest is Tedi Brunetti. To say Tedi Brunetti has seen everything during her career in music would be a vast understatement. The drummer, singer, and songwriter from Pittsburgh grew up listening to songs on a transistor radio while banging away on a hamper and old hat boxes. Describing herself as a sober Janis Joplin meeting Steely Dan in Memphis, it wasn't long before Tedi was touring with New York City's The Impalas, Toronto's infamous B-Girls, and performing with Ice's Carol McDonald before finally deciding to launch her own career. Tedi's current music project is a full-length album titled Queen of Pittsburgh.
And now, welcome this week's special guest.
Welcome to the show, Tedi. How are you doing tonight?
Oh, I'm great. How are you doing, Sarantos?
I'm doing great. So thank you so much for being on the show tonight. I really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's my pleasure.
You're welcome. So tell us a little bit about how you got started on this path.
It's just something that happened to me early in life. I was around 11 years old, and I got bit by the music bug. It hit me like a bolt of lightning. I was at a girlfriend's birthday party. Now, understand, I'm 11. She had an older sister who's a teenager who had a Victrola record player. She was playing this 45 of the song by the Kingsmen, Louie Louie. And I was across the room, and I don't know if you know this song or not, but the next time you hear it, the drums are bombastic on it. And it just, something happened to me when I heard this music. It went through me like lightning, and I was drawn to it. I ran to that little Victrola, and I kept playing that song over and over again. And in that moment, I kind of knew this is what you do. And I had never played a musical instrument before, all right? But I knew this is what you're going to do. You're going to be a drummer. You're going to be a musician. You're going to make music. This is why you're here. You know, it was a spiritual experience. I got to tell you, they had to drag me away from that little record player to get back to the party. And I ran home and I asked my parents if I could take drum lessons. And I'm the oldest of 10 kids, by the way. So they said no because they thought drums were a boy's instrument. Okay, so yeah. I went for the next best thing, which was guitar. And they bought me a guitar, and I took guitar lessons, and I did well with it. But and I started writing songs immediately. Okay, and so I've been at it a while now. Because I'm a grandma now. I have a 12-year-old granddaughter.
Wow, good for you. That's awesome.
Yeah, I actually, we just added a new one to our family last Friday. We had our oldest boy had a little boy. So, well, he didn't. His wife did. But so now we have 3 grandchildren. But and my husband's part of my musical journey. He's my lead guitar player, and I met him in the first road band I was in. And, so music's been a big part of my life.
That's great. Are there any famous musicians you admire?
Oh, so many. But Sting, Stevie Wonder, great songwriters like them, and they're also wonderful vocalists. Sting's a bass player. I have a special thing for him because I'm a drummer.
Yeah.
And so, drummers and bass players kind of hook up. And I have that. I did study bass in high school. And actually, the first road band I was in, I was the bass player. But over the years, I let my guitar playing and bass playing kind of went the wayside, and I concentrate on my drumming, and my singing and songwriting. So that's how I write now, is on guitar, and sometimes I start a song with a bass line, but I'll squeak it out and I'll teach it to my husband, who can play it properly, and then that's how I do my writing.
Well, it's great that you're between the drums and the bass. I mean, you probably are all about that groove. And that's great, because a lot of singer-songwriters, they get messed up with the groove, and it's not something that's a strength of theirs and usually a weakness. So that's wonderful that you have that advantage.
Yeah, I do feel like it's an advantage. And it's funny, when I sit down behind my drum kit and I start working on a new song, I kind of orchestrate the song and arrange it from the drum set, through my drum parts.
Yeah.
So I do feel like that is an advantage, because I guess it is, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
If you could pick one instrument today, you could just play one, which one would it be? Would it be the drums?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's fair enough.
Yeah, I'm in love with everything about drumming, I mean, the technique, the coordinations, all that. I mean, it's very challenging,
How often would you say that you practice? Or do you just do gigs and you don't really practice anymore?
Oh, no, I'm a practicer. I'm kind of out of practice right now. I'm in a weird space right now because we're launching this album. So I'm concentrating more on the business side of my career right now. Sure. But normally I hit my drum pad 3 hours a day, and then I try to play the drum kit 3 hours a day. So I play a lot. If you want to play at a high level, you have to play. I do anyhow. I'm not that special.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think that's... So we got a call from Ben, one of our listeners. He's asking, what advice would you give a newbie that's just starting in the business? How would you answer that, Teddy?
I would say, learn about the business. And there's a lot available today. Online, podcasts, listening to shows like yours, and other shows that concentrate more on teaching you the ins and outs of the music business. There's a lot of podcasts, there's a lot of webinars, there's online courses, and there's, so much available. But learn about the business, know what you're getting into, because it's at least 50% of it, if not more. That you develop your skills as a musician, be true to yourself and your art, and but don't neglect learning about the business either, because that's if you're trying to do it as a career. Yeah. Not everybody does. So.
Yeah, I totally get it. Do you teach at all?
I do. I have one woman I'm teaching right now, and it seems to be enough, and we've become good friends. And as a matter of fact, her daughter is my makeup artist, and she's the star of my first video there, the Evil Woman video. She's a gorgeous girl, and she's a hairdresser and a makeup artist, and that's how I found her, was through her mom, who I teach drum lessons to.
Cool. So tell us a little bit about this new CD that you're talking about. When is it coming out? What can we expect out of it?
Well, it's called The Queen of Pittsburgh, and it's going to be released July 20th. And there's 9 songs on it. And I wrote most of the songs, and I co-wrote some of them. But I'm the writer on most of them. And, of course, I sing them all and play drums on them all. And it's been a labor of love. My husband, like I said before, is the lead guitar player. Our one son, James, is a musician. And there's actually the title song, The Queen of Pittsburgh, has a father-son guitar solo in the solo section, and it's awesome. And so I got to have my son on the album, and 2 of my sisters actually sing background vocals on a few of the tunes. And that was something I always wanted to do, you know. I have another solo album out that I did about 35 years ago. Actually, it hasn't been released, and we're going to release that maybe next year. But I'm working with the same producer that I worked with on that album, Dean Sargent and Mike Hennigan. They're my producers, and they're my band also. Mike's the bass player and Dean plays guitar, and they both sing, and they're both songwriters. So between Dean and Mike and my husband and myself, we're the core of the album instrumentally and vocally. We have probably close to 200 years of experience, so that's why the album turned out so well, I think, because you know you can't get 50 years experience when you're 20, you know. So Dean and Mike, Dean was a first call recording engineer in New York City back in the day, back when we recorded on 2-inch tape, you know, prior to digital. But anyway, so he's been on a lot of albums. He has a lot of experience, and he's an artist. And that's what I like about this album is everybody who's been involved in my project here has brought their artistic sensibilities to it, and I've given them the freedom to express themselves, and it's working out well. You know, everybody's happy, and they're all making me look good. Yeah,
that's the key, right? Is trying to find people that can make you look good while, you know, we just do what we do best, I guess.
Right. It's nice to collaborate, you know. So,
Teddy,
I'm older.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say I'm older and wiser, so I don't have to control everything now. I can let people put their 2 cents in, and really, I've gained from it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, I totally agree. How do you decide when you're writing a song? Do you always start with the drums? Do you start with lyrics, melody? How do you get that going?
I basically I write like from titles, okay, like the Tin Pan Alley songwriters did, and so that usually, when you have a title, then you're focused, you know. So the song's going to be about something. And sometimes I have little musical phrases or whatever that I save, and little lyric bits that I write down, a few lines here and there, some clever things that I might think of. You know, I have a bin that I have all these little scraps of paper and things on with lyric lines, and I'll go through the bin, and I'll pick the title. I'll have a title, I'll go through the bin and maybe look through everything, and every once in a while I'll find, oh, here's a couple. Oh yeah, this sentiment or these lines here pertain to this particular song title, you know, so I pull that out. But I have, sometimes I write from a bass line, you know.
Yeah.
It just, and Usually I arrange the groove or the feeling of it, of the song, the feel, after I've written the basic chorus and verse, the verse and chorus,
Sure.
So, and that can change. But normally I write from a title,
Okay. Tell us a little bit about how you figure out if something you're working on is going to make it to your CD. Do you ask your husband? Do you have confidants, other music insiders? How do you figure that out?
Well, number one, I'm not really prolific. I write out of necessity. And so I don't have a lot of material laying around that hasn't been recorded. I have a few things now. I'm already thinking ahead to the next album. But so because I get a big kick out of writing music and lyrics, okay? I'm very proud of my lyrics and my music, but I get a big kick out of writing songs. It's very challenging, and trying to get those perfect rhymes. I let ideas about songs swim around in the back of my mind for a while. Sometimes they come quickly, but normally it'll take a few weeks or a few months while I contemplate the song, okay, that I'm writing.
Yeah.
And so once I get it going, though, I try to complete it, and I try not to write bad songs. I try not to write junk. So if it isn't good enough to be on the album, then I probably haven't written it.
Yeah. I get you.
I don't write a lot. I know that's kind of the way things go nowadays with people. I know these younger songwriters, they're pouring out, they're writing a song a day, or, so many, that'd be a little too much for me,
Well, and the whole point is to write a good song, right? So sometimes if you're putting something out a day, a week, a month, and instrumental music is very different than things that have lyrics, that have stories, so there's all sorts of different things you can do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about, if you could do it all over again, what's the one thing you would change?
Well, I think the one thing I would change is I would have a way to back myself up. I didn't have a backup plan when I was younger, all right? And because the music business is rough, and I would have had something in place that a way to make money and support myself where it wouldn't compromise my music, where I could still do my music and not have to make decisions about the music based on finances. So, of course, my parents always, and you hear this all the time, find something to back yourself up. But when you're passionate about what you're doing and you're young, you don't think about those things, I don't know what I would have done. I found out later in life that I was good at math and science. So maybe I would have done something that way. Maybe I would have learned something more about business. Things are so different nowadays. First off, I'm a woman, and the music business is male dominated. It's becoming, there's more women in the actual record companies and running things and doing things in every business nowadays. But it was a different era, when I was growing up. So to do things different, I don't know, I'm fine with how everything turned out. I've lived my life in stages.
Yeah.
I got out of the music business to raise my children, all right? And I went and became my husband and I became the people we used to make fun of. And we got day jobs and raised our kids. And then I retired like 8 years ago and got back to playing again. And here I am today with an album coming out, you know. So it's exciting, and I'm not dead yet.
Yeah. Okay. I'll tell you what. Tell us about this song we're going to hear in about a minute. What do you want us to take from it?
Oh, I hope everybody has a sense of humor about it. It's a song about. It's called "Evil Woman," and it kind of captures the essence of the 20-30 something generation. I was influenced a couple ways writing it. At first, the whole title "Evil Woman," we had a little blues cover band that we had started up just to see if we wanted to play again, you know, and check out the circuit here in Pittsburgh. And then soon that got old quick, and we ended up doing our own music again. But we had a male singer in that band, and he had a girlfriend who started giving him problems on Facebook, and, you know,
yeah,
she wanted to get serious, and he didn't. So that's how the song started. And she was doing all this evil stuff, so that's where the evil woman came in. And then at my hairdressers, there were all these haughty 20, 30-something hairdressers, and listening to their escapades with their boyfriends and husbands and this one and that one and all the stuff that was going on with them, I kind of sucked that up in my mind, and it just became part of the song. And actually, I filmed part of the video there at that hair salon, and and used some of the women who worked there in the video because they're gorgeous, you know.
Yeah. Okay, Teddy. Tell you what, let's check out your song, and we'll come back and talk a little more, okay?
Oh, great. Thanks.
All right, everybody, check this out, Evil Woman. Here we go. right, Teddy, that was a cool song. Thank you for sharing it with us.
Oh, I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah. So tell us, you touched on this before, but are connections important to make in the music industry, you think?
Oh, yeah, they're important in every industry. But it's funny. People will, if you let the music, this is my theory anyhow, if you let the music speak for itself, it'll attract the people it's supposed to attract, and they'll come to you. And so that's kind of what's happening for me right now. So I'm just getting out of my own way, trying not to force things. Just go with the flow and enjoy the moment. Enjoy the whole journey.
Yeah, no, I love that line. Get out of my own way. That sounds like a song. Tell us a little bit about what you got planned. I know the album's coming out now, but what do you have planned in a year or two? Anything special you're working on?
Well, I'm going to be, I have a wonderful, wonderful video production crew that I'm working with. They're young guys, and they're filmmakers. They graduated from Rutgers Film School, so they're bona fide filmmakers, and that helps set my videos apart. And so we're going to be doing probably, we filmed one that's we're editing right now, and that'll come out 2 weeks after the album, and then probably 2 more videos after that haven't been filmed yet. And so that'll get me through this year. Next year, probably going to drop the first album of mine and put that out. And I don't know if we'll do any video for that or not. But I'm thinking of putting. I have my band, but we're scattered. So I'd like to put some kind of, depending on how the album does and where it does well, I'd like to put like some mini tours together and go out and gig a little bit. Yeah. And then get back in the studio. I have a few songs that are ready to go. So, lots to look forward to.
Awesome. Okay. Do you think nowadays, I'm sure this wasn't the case in the past, but do you think men and women generally get the same opportunities in music and equal pay, or do you still think there's a bias?
I haven't done enough yet to answer that with any kind of authority, but I think the playing field's leveling out a bit. It's something about like me, especially me being a drummer and a singer. Nobody expects anything from you, okay, because you're a woman. Okay, it's still a little like that. So they're surprised. And of course, I'm older too, so they really don't expect it. And then when they find out you can rock out, it's like, it's surprising to them. So women, it's a double-edged sword. Sometimes you don't get the credit you deserve because you're a woman. And then again, on the other hand, sometimes you get more credit than you deserve because you're a woman. So it's starting to balance out a little bit. And I see more women involved, like I said, on the business side of it. And I guess, nowadays, with the internet and all that, I see more women out there. So I'm happy for that. I'd like to see more instrumentalists. I mean, there are more now. And many of them are quite wonderful. But,
Okay. When you think about the music industry, one of the questions I like to ask everybody on the show is about scams. Tell us about a scam you might have fallen for so we can protect each other, but what's your feeling about that?
I don't really know. As far as scams go, there seems to be a lot of songwriting contests and things like that, where you have to pay to enter your song to be, music as sport is like not really something I'm fond of, but sometimes I go along with it if somebody reputable tells me, you should enter this, So I have entered a couple songwriting contests lately, so we'll see what happens with that. But scams, to pay to play, that kind of thing, it's been around a long time. I don't really like it. Musicians, art is just that kind of a thing where there seems to be a vacuum between the people who can make a living at it and those who are starving, So, but with the internet, there's a lot more opportunity for mid-level people now, and it wasn't there before. So I think that's growing as being an independent artist. You used to have to sell out to the majors, to have a career, but you don't have to anymore. And I think that's really cool. And I think things are going to change. I think maybe in the future people will be subscribing, like Patreon or whatever, that kind of a thing where people pay for their music and their art. They give their favorite people maybe $10 a month, something like that,
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, they're like subscriptions to people,
Okay, Teddy, do me a favor. Give us your, where can people buy your music, stream it, your website, anything you want to share with the fans out there?
The best place is to find me and to find my music and the links to everything is my website, which is www.tedibrunetti.com, and that's TEDIBRUNETTI.com. And there you can find all my links. You can join my Teddy Bear Club, which is an email list, and I'll be in touch with you. And you can and I send out little emails about what I'm doing. And I'm also on all the social media sites. Facebook, just look up Tedi Brunetti, and Instagram at Tedi Brunetti Official. And I'm on LinkedIn. You can find me there. You can find me on Twitter. And but I'm there on the social media. I love my social media friends, and I'm open to communicating with people. So drop me a line, add a comment, like and subscribe on my YouTube channel, Tedi Brunetti Official YouTube channel, and I'm on Spotify. I'm on all the major platforms, streaming platforms. And you can find me at Apple Music, Amazon, iTunes. Yeah, the normal
stuff. So pretty much all over.
Right, yeah, pretty much the regular thing,
All right, Teddy, I want to thank you so much for being on the show tonight. It's been a real blast.
Well, you are really generous to have me on, and I appreciate everything you're doing, and I wish you big luck with this show and with your career. And I'll be listening to you, and I followed you on Spotify, so I think you're great. And again, I'm thankful for the opportunity, and I wish you well.
Ditto, Teddy. I wish you all the best also.
Thank you.
So I want to thank everyone tonight for listening. If you want to be on the Songwriter Show, obviously just please reach out to me. I invite anyone out there to hopefully submit a request if they want to be on the show. If you're just a regular music fan, you just love hearing the inside story about songwriters, thank you for your support. Thank you for listening. I hope everyone's unique story gets heard around the world. My name is Sarantos. Please join me every Tuesday night to hear other amazing artists share their fascinating behind-the-scenes stories right here at the Songwriter Show. And tonight I'm going to leave you with one of my instrumentals called British Raw, a classic 1960s British instrumental featuring guitars in A major in the style of the Kinks and the Animals. This Brit rock tune will take you back to a 60s night at the drive-thru in London. Love you all. Have a great night, everyone. See you next week.
Thank you for listening to The Songwriter Show. To keep the momentum going, head over to www.songwritershow.com and join our free music community of artists, songwriters, and producers. That's www.songwritershow.com.
Thank you for choosing Pesmo Radio.